Hello lovely people, welcome to the video. My name's Athena. I am a writer working on my first book whilst homeschooling my two girls and being with them 24/7. Now, where are we currently? It is Monday the 21st of July. It has been a week since my last update. We are working on revisions of draft 3, so I'm revising draft 3, preparing for draft 4 of my fantasy romance. For anyone who has no idea what I'm talking about, my fantasy romance. There's quests, there's found family, there's female friendships, there's female baddies, there's a lot happening in there, you know, going on magical quests and magic and fun times all around. So I'm currently working on revising. I have to say, I have never actually revised a book before. You're probably thinking, you reached draft 3, how did you not revise? Good question. Draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, they were all, well, draft 1 was like the first draft. Draft 2 and draft 3 were full rewrites, just full rewrites from zero, from nothing. I changed a whole bunch, okay? I just did the whole thing right through. Now I am revising. Now I am working with what I have and I am improving on it, building on it, doing all the things. I spent last week, so I started revising supposedly on Monday last week. Monday and Tuesday were spent floundering over the prologue and maybe the first scene of chapter 1. It has multiple scenes, so that's saying a lot. I did very little. Well, technically I didn't do very little. I took those 2 days of floundering, procrastinating, trying to figure out what I'm doing to do exactly that, like to figure out how I was going to go about this revision. What was I going to do? My initial thought had been I was going to like do straight digital revisions and kind of just jump into it. No. I have officially fallen in love. Let me show you just one page. Look at that. Do you see that? I have fallen in love with my highlighters, with my look at this. Look at this. Like I do love stationery. Noisy. I am a stationery girl, so this is my dream come true right now. I am marking the things I like. I am marking the threads, the characters, the arcs. Marking everything that needs to change. I am erasing entire paragraphs, cutting off beginnings and endings that just don't need to be there. I'm like, why is this here? It's like, it is the weirdest sensation when you are reading through something you have read multiple times and you have rewritten multiple times and you're suddenly looking at it like, that does not need to be there. The story is way better without it. So why? But it does make sense to me, as in I needed to write that first in order to get the rest of the story, you know? So I'm okay with that. I'm good, I'm cool. But I am cutting out a whole bunch of things. I'm marking a whole bunch of things. I'm marking different changes. I am moving scenes around. There is one chapter that I'm going to be rewriting because, well, maybe not completely rewriting. The amount of edits on it might as well be a rewrite, to be honest. I'm kind of shifting the whole thing around, moving it around. I'm also doing a lot of reshuffling and moving things around, which is super fun. I am actually enjoying this process more than I thought I would. That's, you know. Also, I did not set myself a goal last week. So which I'm actually quite happy about. I think it's the only thing that I stuck to and I was really happy with my decision. Because as I said, Monday, Tuesday, I was just all over the place trying to figure out. I was freaking out, I was panicking, I was crashing out, I was all the things. I was like, I can't do this. I don't know how to do I'm not gonna be able to revise this book. Like, this is not gonna, we're not going anywhere. I'm done. And then something clicked and I found my way and I realized I know the story. It is my story and I know what I want to say. And as I look through these and as I go over my critique partner's advice and comments as well, I'm finding that a lot of her questions kind of make me say, oh, you're right. Like there's a scene, for example, just one example, where I was kind of all over the place and then she asked me, there's a scene where she's sitting down to have breakfast after a really tumultuous night. She hasn't seen her friends since the previous night. They don't know she's safe. Like, no one knows really what's happening on either side. She's not thinking about her friends at all. She's not thinking about her friends at all. And these are very, like, they're very close as friends. Like, this is the girl friendship we're talking here. She does not even, like, she's eating muffins and she's chatting about other things. Okay, Chicky, my mom is done. I'm not gonna take long. So she's not thinking about her friends, and it's just like little things like that where I'm kind of writing and kind of moving through the scenes. And clearly when I was rewriting and redrafting and all that fun stuff, I was just writing the main things, like, because I needed her to be in this place, I needed her to be with specific characters, and I forgot that as a human being she should be contemplating, like, where on earth are my, like, you know, my friends need to come find me and I need to, yeah. So things like that where I'm just like, how did I not see this? How did I not see this? So I am having quite a bit of fun. After that point where things just started clicking into place, I have been just going in and marking things and getting rid of things and changing things, and it has been fun. Like Wednesday through Friday, I got a ton. Like I'm gonna say I started chapter 1 in that Monday, Tuesday phase. I did not finish it in that Monday, Tuesday phase. And then from Wednesday through Friday, I actually hit chapter 13. So today I'm gonna start from the final scene in chapter 13. Well, actually, chapter 13 is pretty huge. I'm probably going to be cutting it up anyway. So technically I'm finished with chapter 13 and moving into the new chapter 14 in all reality, which is fun. I did quite a bit of work. So going back to what I said about not setting goals, my goal had been to start revising, to get into that. And I'm glad I didn't set like I want to reach this point or this chapter or whatever, because that wouldn't have worked. It would have stressed me because I still had to figure out how to revise. So now that I know that my markers are my best friends, my pencil is my best friend, I'm just getting rid of stuff. I'm just really going to town on this and really focusing on making it better and making it clear and concise and adding all the information that the reader needs to understand what I am talking about. I am now in love with the revision process of marking my draft. So my initial plan at this stage is to get to the end of part 1. My book does break up into 3 parts, part 1, part 2, part 3. Part 1 needs the most work. Part 2 and part 3, not so much. Part 2, definitely not so much. Part 1 is the one that like needed all the biggest changes, rewrites, shuffles. Just, I already knew that from the get-go. And I'm proven right as I continue with this revision. So right now I'm focused on part 1. I'm not even gonna think about part 2 and part 3 because then, you know, we're gonna start looking at the forest and we're gonna go crazy. Even looking at part 1 is, you know, but it's okay. I don't wanna say to myself, oh, I wanna finish part 1 in a couple weeks, for example. I don't wanna put too much on, like, weight on my shoulders. Now, what I will say though is I am picking up momentum and kind of moving faster through it. So how many chapters are in part 1? Let me just very quickly. 31 chapters. I'm on chapter 14. So technically, I have another 16 chapters. Technically, as I am going, I could finish part 1 by next week. So like give myself a 1 week and be done with part 1 revisions in like on paper revisions. We're not even talking about the document yet. That is the next process. That is draft 4. Now we're just doing the revisions on paper in draft 3 so that we are preparing to write draft 4. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So I think I definitely appreciated not setting like a rock solid goal other than I want to get as much as possible done. So I think what I'm gonna do, because my brain kind of works in this way where it's like, oh, on the 1st of August, I need to like start something specific, like, you know, kind of the time chunks work easier. I feel like I could tell myself that by next week, which will be, I believe, the 28th, 29th of July. Do I have a calendar that I can have a look at? Let me check my phone. 1 second. Okay, so Monday's the 28th of July. I should have known that. I just add 7 to 21. I'm not even anyway. So giving myself, I think, this week of saying, I will do as much as I can. Because I have found that I can sneak in revision time pretty much throughout the day. I did that with writing. Writing, though, is a lot more... It's different. It requires a different part of my brain, I feel. So I get a lot more revision done because I will sit in my living room, I will sit on my bed, I will sit like wherever, even with my girls running around like crazy. I can focus on revisions a lot easier, probably because I have the information in front of me and I'm just kind of working on it like a puzzle. It's kind of like I have the puzzle pieces and I just need to make sure they're all fitting correctly. You know, it's like one of those puzzles where the differences are so minuscule and so like tiny shades of color changes, and you need to make sure you put the right piece where you should put it. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I think telling myself I am going to do as much as I can by the 28th of July, that gives me the 29th, 30th, and 31st of July. I am terrible. How many days in July? 31st. Okay. So that technically gives me 3 days of July left over after the Monday update that we're gonna do to tackle part 1, like see where I am and then actually make a plan of actually being like, okay, now I need to be like, I need to finish this part within this amount of time, this part within this amount of time. I think I'll have a clearer picture once I've had a full week of just revising, of just doing what I know I need to do. And again, bear in mind, part 1 is the one that needs most work. Part 2 is not going to be like this, neither is part 3. So I feel like, without being too presumptuous, I think we'll be done by the end of August. We shall see. We shall see. As in, like, the full draft 4. Yes? My battery died. Where was I? So, as I said, I think, yes. So I do think I will be done with the bulk of revisions and even, like, writing by the end of August. Maybe not the full writing of it. Yeah, maybe not. I feel like I'll be in a very good place by the end of August. I think that's what I'm gonna say to myself right now. At this point, I think for this week, I'm just gonna say I wanna get as much done as humanly possible. I do believe it is possible to tackle part 1, but I'm not gonna put that as my goal. That will be kind of like the ultimate achievement for me though. Like if I do that, that'll be amazing. But my goal is to do as much as humanly possible with the various limitations that exist in my life. I do think it's possible. I do definitely think it's possible. If not in the week, I think like by the end of July, so that I'm starting part 2 revisions on the 1st of August, like jumping into August with part 2 revisions, which are not as much, and then part 3 revisions, and then I can actually, so this is the one thing I haven't decided on yet, which is why I'm focusing on just getting part 1 revisions done, and then, you know, my initial thought had been to do the part 1 revision in the draft itself on paper, and then start writing. Write all that, and then do part 2 and part 3. Clearly because there are gonna be some changes and some things I'm gonna be fixing. I'm shuffling around scenes a lot. I feel like it will help the revisions if part 1 is done and ready and there for me to reference as I edit and revise and go through parts 2 and 3. I think that would actually make more sense and would actually help me a lot more than trying to revise parts 2 and part 3 with just the idea of what I'm changing. I don't know, because see, this is the thing. I said it about the read through. I said it many times where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna just do part 1 and then I'm gonna work through part 1 and then once I get to that point, I kind of just need to keep going. And that's one thing that I've just been doing. I just need to keep going and go through the whole book and then tackle the whole book. I've just been tackling the whole book as a whole. Not necessarily a bad thing, it's just the time constraints. And if it goes too long, then part 1 is not so much in the forefront as I would want it to be as I'm working on part 2 and part 3, if that makes sense. Anywho, I've rambled on for way too long. Revisions are going well, they are underway. I really want to try and do like a proper vlog of me revising. I might try and film myself and maybe do a voiceover because I doubt there won't be like people talking to me nonstop throughout the whole process. We'll see. I might try, I might, you know, at this point, this is what I can do, so this is what I'm doing. I'm very excited though, I'm very happy. I'm happy with where I am, I'm happy with my progress, I'm happy with my plan moving forward. This week feels very, very doable, and I'm in that part right now, and I know fellow writers will understand 100%. I'm in that phase right now where I feel like this book is good, and I'm actually writing a good book, and I actually know what I'm doing, and I'm good at what I'm doing right now. That's the phase I'm in right now, and I'm gonna take advantage of it, because you don't know how long it's gonna last. I could be spiraling again tomorrow, who knows? We shall see. I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully with lots of progress. Bye.